What up, people? It's your boy Chig from Guna Eagle Eye coming to you again with a brand new video. This time it's another episode of Eagle Eye, the transfer rumours show that I don't bring to you guys often enough. I figured it was a while since I've done one of these, so I figured a lot of stories are coming about, and I thought let me address that now. But before I get going with the stories, let me just say something, right? So there's been a lot of stuff that's happened with regards to Mesut Ozil. Now you guys know I'm not particularly a Mesut Ozil fan. I'll take that back. It's not that I'm not a fan of his, but I'm also not one that kind of treats him as the blue-eyed boy. I always, like with any other player, call it how I see it, and you guys will see proof of that tomorrow. Stay tuned to the chopping block. Having said all that, with regards to Mesut Ozil, I always say it how I see it. But there's a difference between criticizing him for a game and screaming racial abuse at him, saying, "Oh, he's Turkish this, he's Turkish that." Now I know predominantly it's coming from German fans and whatever. But at the same time, I'm also understanding that I'm hearing some Arsenal fans are saying this type of shit as well. That's where I'm like, alright, calm down, motherfuckers. It ain't that serious. Just like it ain't that serious when people were running their mouths about Iwobi, calling him a black this, black that, go back to Africa, this type of bullshit. This is why no matter what sort of lines press want to spin you about, racism is more or less at a minimum these days, it's incidents like this that show you it ain't. It's alive and well in football, unfortunately. It's disgusting. And for me, I condemn any type of racism, but especially over a fucking football game. It ain't that serious. Anyway, I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in there. I hope Mesut Ozil comes back and performs like we know he can, basically. Anyway, moving on, back to the transfer rumours. So, there's been a lot. Let's talk about the 2 signings that I think most Arsenal fans are very excited about, and that's the potential signings of Benega and Lucus Torreira. So let's start off with Lucus Torreira. So there was a lot of stories that came out on Thursday, I want to say Friday morning, that the deal may have fallen through. I'd never claimed to be an ITK, but some of the reliable people that I know is that the deal has been more or less done and signed and agreed for some time, and it's just a case that they're waiting for the World Cup to conclude. Which, from a Nigerian perspective, I want this World Cup to finish too. Let's get back on with the new season. But as far as I understand, the deal has more or less been done. It's been agreed verbally. It's just a case of him signing it. I think the Oracle himself, David Ornstein, came out, made a number of comments of this was one, and there was this idea from him that the deal was still being finalised and negotiated with. From what I understand, the deal is done, and it's just a case of what is done in terms of everything's been agreed. It's just a case of him putting, his signature on the dotted line, which is expected to happen after the World Cup. Arsenal like to do all this media shit. They like to do all this stuff for their websites and stuff. So I never personally expected us to sign anyone from the World Cup while the World Cup was happening because of that. So to me, it's of no real surprise that nothing from any players from the World Cup has been confirmed yet. So I wouldn't worry too much about this one. I think it will get done in the end. I think we've got this could be a real gem that Sven has found, a real gem. I really like the look of the player. 22 years old as well, so I expect that to be confirmed shortly. Sorry. The second potential signing I'll talk about is Benega. Suddenly, I think everyone has decided we need this guy. Technically very good. Listen, I have to be honest. I said it at the time of my watch along that I wasn't really watching Benega closely because I was so worried about the Nigeria game. But I'll tell you what, I went back as promised and really looked at the highlights. And truth be told, the game fucking changed when he came on, controlled the fucking game, and really unleashed Messi. So quite honestly, if you can have the same sort of effect for an Aubameyang and a Lacazette, bring my man on. I don't necessarily think he's absolutely vital. I am conscious of the fact that we have a lot of midfielders all of a sudden, particularly if we get these two on board. Bear in mind, we've just given Xhaka a new contract, we've just given Ainsley Maitland-Niles a new contract, and we're trying to sign down Ramsey. We're speaking of Ramsey. So that was the other thing that David Ornstein came out and said, was that negotiations are ongoing with Ramsey, but that it's looking positive. That all signs point to him potentially signing. I always have to put a little bit of cautiousness with this type of rumour though, people, because let's face it, it was only 6-7 weeks ago that everybody thought that Jack Wilshere was definitely going to sign, and it was just a case that he needed a couple of reassurances and a couple of things. Did you notice I never said a single word about that? Because I wasn't so sure, especially because we kept getting linked to central midfielders 6 or 7 weeks ago, and I thought to myself, really? Now I can understand that because obviously Santi's now left, Jack has now left. We do need these places filled, especially people of a Benega type of ilk, in terms of someone who can just play that number 8 role, kind of a deep line playmaker role. You saw the impact he had with Messi. Even Messi, as brilliant and as much as everybody likes gushing over Messi, someone of his caliber still needs someone like a Benega to unleash him and make him as potent as we know he can be. So I think maybe after all, he is a necessary signing. I do like the idea personally of signing more physical players because I do think we missed that. But you know what? Slowly but surely, I think we are getting there. I think Emery is really starting to put his stamp on the club. And fair play to him. He's clearly identified what he likes and what he doesn't like. So, for me, let's hope this one gets over the line. Will I be devastated if it doesn't happen? He is 30 years old. Part of me feels that there are younger options out there. But, you know what? If we can get it over the line, brilliant. So let me talk about a couple more stories that I found that came up that are not talked about as much, but I still think are interesting stories. So there's some rumours that have come about that if we can't get a Benega over the line, that we're looking at another player, and I'm going to try and not butcher this guy's name, Tanguy Ndombele. He's a 21-year-old that plays for Lyon. It's Lyon. Let me preface that by saying that Lyon deals are never easy to complete. And he only joined them last year for £7 million, and that was after he completed a year loan deal. Had an excellent season, very tall, physical, but technically a very good player. Someone that can play that number 8 role well, and he's 21, young, someone who could develop into the role, and someone that I think Sven and the team have identified as a potential backup plan if the Benega deal doesn't pull off. So it does seem like Arsenal are very committed. Oh my gosh, just sprayed spit everywhere, sorry. It does seem like Arsenal are very committed to sorry, I was really put off by the spit thing, sorry. It does seem like Arsenal are very committed to finding another number 8, which, fair enough. If they feel that we need that control in the middle, I like the idea of having someone that has a bit of both, who can play that number 8 role, but is physically built and dominant. Because I do think we need that power, so I do think this is a good backup plan if we aren't able to secure Benega. And the final story which I saw, I always like the idea of Arsenal planning for the future. I think with Wenger sometimes we strayed too much to that side of things, particularly around about 2011, 12, 13. I think our entire focus was on kids, but I do think it is necessary sometimes to plan for the future. And Arsenal are looking at a Mexican, I believe he's a striker. But he's 15 years old, supposed to be hot shit. Like, all the teams are after him. Chelsea, Liverpool, United are after a kid called Marcelo Flores. He's meant to be like the next big thing. 15 years old, plays for Ipswich. And Sven has identified him as someone that he'd like to bring on board. He also has aspirations of playing in the Premier League and one day in La Liga, which I think most people do. He does have a favourite player, and that is Messi. So you do feel like this is one of those players where if we do bring him on board, at some point he'll probably fuck off to Barcelona. But yeah, that's said to be someone who could be potentially the next big thing here. So it would be very interesting to see exactly what we do here with regards to Flores and whether or not we bring him in. I do think it is necessary sometimes to bring in these kids just to see what they're about. Alright people, that's all the stories from me. You let me know what you think. Are you excited about Benega and Torreira? Let me know down below. Still think we need a winger. I know that we have been linked with several wingers. At the moment, all the stories seem to be around central midfielders. But what winger would you bring on board? Let me know down below. If you like this video, destroy that like button for me, and share with someone else that ain't seen me, and hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell. It's the way you'll be able to keep up to date with all my videos, including my chopping block that I'll do tomorrow, and it may surprise you to know that I did a Luke Cage review. Hasn't done as well as I expected. But listen, I like to do these things sometimes just to change it up a little bit. So if you are a Luke Cage fan and you're thinking, fuck, I didn't even know Chick did a review. I did do it quite late, to be fair. But do check that out. It's in my little archives below. Alright people, I'm out of here. Take care. Deuces.